Hello everybody, my name is Blue and today we will be doing a full zoo tour of Aqualand. It's a zoo I have been building off camera, and now that it's finally finished I can do a full tour of, well, Aqualand. And well, this is the entrance. It's a harbour since Aqualand is a full island, so you have to actually enter the zoo via ferry. And as you can see, there's like an info desk with some nice wall decorations and a nice lovely view of the coast, well, of the sea. It should obviously continue, but since we're limited with the border and also with, performance, I had to make it more like a lake instead of a full ocean. But yeah, there's like a load of different decorations behind the glass and stuff as well, basically exciting you about what's to come. And then there's a lovely sign welcoming you to Aqualand with our mascot Greg the sea lion. The actual zoo is located in Sweden. Actually, I think the map is in North America, but later I changed the backstory, like the lore of the zoo, of it being Swedish. So yeah. And then you can go on top of this little terrace, and there's a restaurant building on top of here, and also a lovely view again of the ocean. But yeah, some vending machines and a nice little seating area where you can eat your food once actually entering the restaurant. So you can go down on both sides. So we'll go down on this side, take the staircase down, some more vending machines. But first, let's have a look at the view. So yeah, this is the entrance plaza with a hippo statue, and there's Whitehills Harbour, the first area. So let's have a look at that. So yeah, there's some nice paintings as well on the sides from the aquatic pack, I think, and some statues on each side. The penguins on this side. There were, I think there was a caiman on the other side, and some seating areas as well. And then this is the actual entrance area. I tried to make it like feel like SeaWorld kind of thing, or like an aquarium, although obviously it's not an aquarium, it's a zoo. But yeah, I tried to give it this real like aquatic feeling, and then obviously a hippo in the center, since it's one of the aquatic animals in this zoo. And yeah, so let's go to the first area, Whitehills Harbour. So Whitehills Harbour is themed after the Swedish architecture, so basically it's in line with the actual architecture that you would see in Sweden. So this is more like the native kind of architecture, I guess, since these are some nice Swedish houses, and actually all the staff rooms are hidden in those buildings. And then the first animal is the seal. A good strong start of zoo with some seals. Everyone loves seals, and there's a couple of babies. Oh, there's an adult as well. And yeah, very cool. They have like more of an Arctic looking enclosure with faux rocks painted white to like try to resemble snow. Obviously it's not snow. And then info board, which is actually from the workshop. No, it's not from the workshop, it's from the Nexus mod page. And also a cool sign that, well, it's like our mascot Greg, that gives a bit of information about the animal. But yeah, all the info boards, like the custom ones, are not by me, but I actually downloaded them on the Nexus by some talented person. There's a lot of workshop items. I don't remember most of the people who built the workshop items, but I will definitely point out which buildings are workshop items. And actually, those Swedish buildings were actually templated by by someone else called Beeve. So he actually built those lovely Swedish buildings with the different colors. Obviously, I've adjusted them a bit and added some different colors and stuff like that. But he was so nice to build a handful of them for me to place down. Also, some of the crates and barrels, I think, are also all by him, so credit to Beeve. Now, here is a little pier. It's nothing interesting really, but it's just it's where you can we can walk and have a nice breeze of the ocean and have a nice sit maybe on the pier with your loved one or with your family and just appreciate the ocean. And you have a nice view of those lovely buildings in front as well, with all the boats, which are also workshop items, the little boats over there. And then there's some tiny beaches where you can relax if you want to as well. Maybe have a little swim, although there are no barriers or anything, so you swim with your own precaution. But yeah, the second animal is the sea lion, which is our mascot of the zoo, the California sea lion. There's a whole bunch of them, since you'll see that a lot in this zoo, that I haven't really been regulating their breeding and stuff, so some of the animals are a bit overpopulated, but we'll just ignore that. So yeah, there are quite a handful, a couple of handfuls of sea lions, and I think they're all female now. I think I got rid of all the males since they were breeding a lot. And the actual backstage areas of these enclosures are visible, which I think really gives it this like more like home kind of feeling, if that makes sense. It's not, obviously it's themed, but it's still a zoo, and you see everything in action, and you see everything moving, and stuff are happening in the zoo, right? You can see the backstage areas. I like to show them. But yeah, there's a lovely underwater view of the sea lions with their submarine, and another sign, this time explaining that Greg is in fact a California sea lion. So if you continue up, I think we'll see some more Swedish architecture. That's actually the like staff building, and there's another view of the sea lions on the other side as well. You can do a 360 view of the sea lions. They don't mind, they love the company. But yeah, that's just a simple staff building with some extra, well, staff buildings. There is a narrow little path, and that path actually leads to a secret beach where you can go and hide and relax and enjoy the ocean. Well, this is the ship store, the first shop, I think. Is it the first shop? Yeah, the first, like, restaurant. No, actually, we have the entrance restaurant. Yeah, it's another shopping/eating area with another restaurant. In total, there are 3 restaurants, and then obviously also some stalls, like just simple stalls with eating quarters scattered around the zoo. But 4 real, like, restaurants. And this is the second restaurant, which is the boat restaurant. It doesn't really have a name, but you have the ship store and the boat restaurant. That makes sense. So yeah, that's the actual restaurant entrance over there. And a nice view again, as I said, of the ocean. There's going to be a lot of ocean views in this zoo since it's an island. And yeah, you have to make use of it. You have to appreciate the fact that you're at the coast and you actually get to see the ocean. Now, the next animal in the Whitehills Harbour, and it's the second to last one, but we'll visit the last one later on, just to make the tour a bit more fluent. But the second to last animal in Whitehills Harbour is the penguin. And, well, obviously the penguin isn't native to Sweden, nor is it native to the Northern Hemisphere, but the entrance area, Whitehills Harbour, isn't supposed to be Swedish. It's more like it's supposed to be just the general, like, entrance area with your flagship iconic aquatic animals being the seal, sea lion, and penguin. You know, those are the ones you really think of if you think of like a SeaWorld kind of thing. So that's basically what Whitehills Harbour is. The rest of the pack will be more themed, having more niche animals. Let's just say niche, yeah. Since obviously the seal and sea lion are both also from different areas of the world, seals being European and sea lions being, well, Californian. And another sign as well, Greg says some very interesting stuff again about king penguins. So yeah, very cool. Even pointing at it with a little sign. So now let's continue to the second area of the zoo, the second realm. And this realm is with it has a strong Thailand-inspired theme. It's just a generic Asian theme, but I try to focus on Thailand since, you know, Thailand has a lot of coasts and stuff as well. I mean, most of Southeast Asia is quite coastal in general. but I specifically chose Thailand since I've never done some specific Thai architecture before. So yeah, some statues and stuff, and we have some otters, we have some tapirs. But let's go to the left first and actually visit a little fishing village. Since yeah, and as you can see, there's like these things scattered about that shows that the staff are actually working here. So that's cool. But yeah, let's have a look at. Oh, that's by the way the Wat Huay Sai Temple, the actual temple that this whole area revolves around. Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the fishing village, also inspired from vernacular Thailand architecture and some custom sounds as well. I'm not sure if you can hear it if I did the audio loud enough, but yeah, all the areas have their own music as well to really, I guess, immerse you in these different realms. And this Thai fishing village has some custom Thai music. But we can actually see the water buffaloes from this village. That's it. There's nothing else. The village is supposed to be like an educational area where you could like enter the buildings and educate yourselves about Thailand culture, about fishing culture, and about all different Southeast Asian cultures along the coastlines, obviously. That's the idea, but I didn't build any interior since I don't really like doing interior, but the idea is there anyway. So yeah, it's more of an educational area of the zoo to educate you about some human cultures as well, since, that's important. But yeah, another custom sign of the water buffaloes. And you can actually see the boat house or the ship store lighthouse thing from here as well. Now, if we head back, we'll actually go into the Wat Huay Sai Temple, which is like the central temple, which is 100% inspired by a real temple with the same name, and that is in fact a temple from Thailand. So it definitely fits the whole Thailand theme. And yeah, this was before we got the southeast. Oh no, sorry. This is before we got the tropical pack. So it was built prior to all those pieces. So I'm not gonna change it since I was proud of it, and I'm not gonna change all the custom stuff I built. But yeah, here we have another view of the water buffaloes, and they have one of the buildings is actually like a little shelter. They have another shelter in the back as well, like a proper shelter, for if it's winter. Like a more industrial, yeah, more backstage kind of looking shelter, not really themed, since you don't really see it, so it's not really that important. Trying to get that realism in, it's still a zoo. And then here are the red-crowned cranes. Obviously not from Thailand, as I said, it's a generic Asian theme, but yeah, the red-crowned cranes from Japan and I think China as well, those colder areas. But definitely very cool as well, and it's the only other water bird we have outside of the flamingos, I think. Those are the only two. It's one of two water birds. We should have more water birds in my honest opinion. But yes, there's plenty of red-crowned cranes to look at, and they have a large area where you can walk over with that bridge that we just walked over, yeah. But yeah, they're very pretty. It's probably one of my favorite birds in the game, rightfully so. And another interesting sign about the red-crowned cranes and whatever Greg has to say about these birds. On this side, we have actually two species in one habitat, the Malayan tapir, Budi, and I forgot the name of the other one actually, and also some proboscis monkeys, since they are actually one of the only species of primates that can actually swim, which is quite unique, so I thought they do deserve a spot in this aquatic pack in Aqualand. And yeah, so they can climb, but they can also swim. So they have a nice little area together with the Malayan tapirs. And there's another area with some custom signs from the Nexus mod page. Now, if you go over here, we actually have some small-clawed otters, and these are absolutely cute. We have both otter species in the zoo, but the small-clawed otters, being the smallest species, are here in this little enclosure in the Wat Huay Sai Temple realm. And they do dive. They deep dive, I think. They should. I hope. Come on, deep dive. Oh yeah, there's one. Look. So they do deep dive. And, you know, this is maybe one of the less realistic enclosures. I feel like it's maybe a bit big as well. And, you know, the water is quite deep, I think. I don't think a real zoo would have had that deep water for some otters. But you have to make it that deep so they can actually deep dive. So, whatever. So yeah, you can see the otters playing around and stuff like that. And there's another little sign showing you, you know, that there are some otters. And also some sign for the Malayan tapirs as well. I don't think we have someone for the proboscis monkey since that sign kind of sucks. It's a really bad sign, I'll be honest. It's just, it's not really clear that it's proboscis monkey. Actually, no, you look, we do have a proboscis monkey sign. It's not that nice though. But let's go to the next area. Well, actually, there's one more Asian animal that we have to look at, the Asian water monitor. I added this one afterwards since, you know, it was added with the tropical pack, and this zoo was already near completion when that pack came out. So I had to like fit it in where there was space. And since the actual Asian area was completely filled up, I had to add it on this side, but it's still near the Asian area. So yeah, here we have the cool lizards, these huge monitors called the Asian water monitor. And yeah, they have a little cave or like backstage area as well, and they do deep dive. They're actually one of the only reptiles to deep dive, together with all the crocodilians, obviously. I don't think the other monitor lizard deep dives. But yeah, another sign, Greg says whatever about the Asian water monitor. But then now we can actually enter South America with Agua De Anta. It means, I don't know, I forgot. I think agua means water, but I don't know what the rest means. I don't speak Spanish, or is it Portuguese? I even forgot if it was Spanish or Portuguese. But yeah, the whole theme is, it's inspired a bit by that one Disney movie that I forgot the name of. Encanto, that's it. It's inspired a bit by Encanto, especially those smaller buildings at the beginning. These larger buildings are just generally inspired by colonial architecture from Colombia and other South American countries, but I think mostly Colombia. That's my main inspiration point. And there is a huge pirate ship, because we can't have South America without pirates, right? I know it's cliche, but it works. And the pirate ship is a workshop item, 100%. I did not build that. I'm not that good, unfortunately, or I don't really have the patience to build a ship. If you haven't noticed, every single ship in this zoo is a workshop item, because I can't really get that ship shape, so I'd get other people to do it for me. How easy. And also those bins are workshop items because I was too lazy to build custom bins, or something that you hardly even see. But yeah, those ships, every single ship, boat, or any vehicle that would be in the water is 100% not me and someone else. So credit to all those people who built those lovely ships and boats. But yeah, I tried to get like a nice little South American harbour. I'm trying to have the different harbour themes around the world, and this is trying to be as South American as possible, with a old like ruined dock, I imagine from, I don't know what, like old colonial buildings or whatever, and a nice little dock going like a pier, more like a pier, that looks out on the ocean and has a beautiful view of those nice South American buildings, and also of a large building that I will get into in a bit. And it's actually a ladder to get up and down, since I'll be completely honest, I was too lazy to build a staircase. But yeah, the first animal in this South American realm, Agua De Anta, and there's Cafe Agua as well, by the way. The first animal is the capybara. Yeah, it's it's a fan favorite. We all love capybaras. We've all seen those silly little videos online of capybaras being silly and ferocious melon munchers and all those funny words and memes. But yes, the capybaras have a nice little place in our zoo, and this obviously is inspired by, I think it's those Japanese zoos where they like sit under and enjoy a little stream. But yeah, I had to use those enrichment pieces for the capybaras, so I did. And then this is the big eat and hotel area, since yeah, this is the huge first hotel building in this zoo, Shellington Otter. The Shellington Otter is inspired by a zoo in Paradisa, actually called the Paddington Bear, but I just renamed it to the Shellington Otter. And also Shellington Eats, a nice little restaurant. And also a seating area for this said restaurant, or just other food you might have, you know. And then the next animal in South America is the jaguar in this beautiful little cave called Jaguar's Lair. And another sign, obviously, Greg educating us about the fact that black panthers are actually just jaguars with a melanistic colour morph. But yeah, they have a huge swimming area, absolutely massive, and they do deep dive actually. That's why I added them to the zoo, since they do deep dive. And I think the tigers do as well, but there was only place for one big cat in this zoo, so I chose the jaguars, since they nicely fit in this otherwise lacking South American area. And there's obviously our beautiful jaguar having a nice catwalk, literally, on that log, going into its little burrow. But yeah, they have quite a lot of space in general, I think. It's quite big for a big cat enclosure, but I like to be generous from time to time, so here you go. The next South American species is the giant otter. The giant otter is our other otter species, and look at that! Just like promised in the trailer, the giant otter came to say hello at the glass. And how cute is that? That's actually a real coincidence. I just made that up in the trailer, but yeah, it's actually saying hello behind the glass. So the trailer wasn't clickbait, it was actually true. But yeah, so we have some giant otters having the greatest of times in this lovely little enclosure, and there is a underwater view inside of the reptile house that we will get into a bit as well, and a shelter in the back hidden from the public. But yeah, a beautiful view from outside as well, and a custom sign as always. So yeah, and also Greg saving the day with some lovely information, some educational material about giant otters being the longest members apparently. And there's some spelling mistakes, so we'll just ignore that. I actually noticed some spelling mistakes whilst reading it just now. And a nice little kid play area with a seesaw added there at the end of the build, since there was just an empty spot, and I thought, you know what, a seesaw. To actually have something for the kids, you know. And yeah, another wheelbarrow with some melons to supposedly be delivered to the capybaras, but the zookeeper was a bit lazy and just left it there. Yeah, let's have a look at the reptile house. So let's make it nighttime. But first, look at this cool little like dragon thing that I made using those South American pieces afterwards. No, not South American, tropical. But yeah, now that it's night, we can actually explore the reptile house. So the reptile house also has different areas, from South America to Australia, even to the Arctic. The Antarctic, to be more specific. So yeah, this is the dwarf caiman, and look, it's right over there, the dwarf caiman having a nice little swim in this rather large enclosure. Realistically speaking, this enclosure would be less than half the size for a single dwarf caiman, but I didn't want to waste space, so I just made it all dwarf caiman material. We can view the giant otters underwater as well, as promised, and see them swimming about and having, as I said, the bestest of times. Yeah, they're having a good old time underwater, having a swim, and there's some statues as well. There's actually 2 viewing windows, so the other one is right over here. Just some sign, as I said again, and a whole bunch of otters having some great time underwater, playing around and swimming around, as they should. And some more statues. All the different types of statues. The other caiman species, right over here, having a good old time as well, walking. I think that's all they do really, walk and sit and sleep and swim. That's the caiman life. But yeah, very nice little enclosure, and a mojai, or however you pronounce it, mojai head, Easter head or whatever, Easter Island head, and the yellow anaconda, which is also a aquatic animal, I guess, so I just added it there as well. The yellow anaconda. There's another view of the caiman here, and then there's now 2 paths that we can take. We can go left or we can go right, but let's go through North America first, because North America has a nice number of animals. We have the alligator, obviously, our beloved alligator species. And what is that one up to? Yeah, that's a weird. Oh, and that one is merged. Those are 2. These are some very unique alligators. Aqualand has one of the most unique alligators, a hybrid, and one that can stand on its front legs. Very special, I know. We also have bullfrogs, and you know, all the North American aquatic animals, or like exhibit animals that we have. The bullfrogs being the first. And let's have a look underwater. Is there any underwater? Oh yeah, there's one right there if you can spot it. The next is the axolotl. But the axolotl is quite hard to find. They're always so tiny. But let's have a look if you can spot any. Oh yeah, look at that. That is a tiny little axolotl in the dark, just chilling. Is there another one somewhere? Maybe, probably, I don't know. I don't care. They're here somewhere. Oh, there is one. You can see it right there. That's number 2. And there's a whole bunch more, but I don't care to look. So let's have a look at the last one, the terrapins. A bit easier to spot. There's a whole bunch of them on land, and probably a whole bunch underwater as well. Look, there's one right. Hey, rude. I was looking at them first. But yeah, another one there as well. So now let's I can't talk anymore. Let's head over to the next animal, which is actually the North American beaver, which have a nice view as well. There's actually like different layers. The first one being shallow, with the beavers having a nice sit over there. The next window being a bit deeper, you know, you can actually look under the water now, but also still above water. And then the next one being completely submerged. It's like a tiered river with all the dams that they've built, which is quite cool, I guess. There's no staff area, or no staff, a staff only area. And let's go into the Antarctic with our lovely penguins. And I know I said that this is a reptile house, but let's be honest, most reptile houses don't only have reptiles, they have some random animals. So penguins are technically reptiles because they are birds and birds are reptiles. So yeah, let's have a look at these lovely penguins. We've seen them outdoors, but let's have a look at them whilst swimming. And they look gracious swimming. Look at them torpedoing through the water. Very beautiful. Another custom sign here as well. A staff only entrance. Very important, obviously. And yeah, load of penguins. So let's go into Asia. This is more like India, I guess. Since the music is kind of like, has this adventure Indian kind of feeling, in my opinion. If you can even hear it, I'm not sure if it's loud enough. But yeah, we can see the small-clawed otters from here as well. And we also have a moderate amount of gharials. Yeah, they have been breeding a little bit. But don't worry, I have made sure they cannot breed ever again. I've revoked their breeding rights. Now it's only just a matter of time that they grow up so I can sell every single one of them except for like probably 2 or 3. Yeah, the gharials, yeah, there's a lot, I know. Just ignore that. There is a large amount of gharials. But yeah, they have quite a large enclosure as well, so, you know, deserved, I guess. And a nice, like, mural kind of thing, like a wetlands mural of all the wetlands pieces. It looks kind of cool, I guess. Another custom sign, as always. And Mummy Gharial, who produced all of these babies. I feel bad for the mother, actually. Next, we have just a generic theme. Oh, like, this is an African animal, the Goliath frog, and this is a European animal. European, the Danube crescent newt, I think it's called. Yeah, it didn't really fit in with the rest of the theme, so it just has its own, like, just separate random area, just random species, kind of in the middle of Asia. And I also added these Asian water monitors with a nice underwater view. This was originally just a plain wall, but since that I had to add these species, I thought I'll just add a little window as well, just made a hole in the wall and voila. But I think it works. It's naturalistic and you get a good view because they actually deep dive, which is quite cool. So yep. But next, let's go into Australia. Australia has 2 strong species. The largest crocodilian alive, which is the saltwater crocodile. As you can see, it's quite big. It's a big species. And they have large areas where you can walk over it. And I added some custom didgeridoo sounds since I feel like the in-game Australia theme was a bit too singy. I wanted some pure didgeridoo, you know. So I added some custom sounds. And then let's have a look at the platypus as well. Since I don't think it was appropriate to have platypus outside, they need a hot area inside, since this is Sweden after all. So yeah, I gave the platypus a nice area inside. And you often do see platypus inside of reptile houses, or just like indoor areas like tropical houses or etc. And another custom sign. I tried to give this as good as an Australian theme that I could, but it's quite difficult, you know. It's maybe a bit bland, but I tried to Australify it as much as possible. Even with a huge Australian mural. And yeah, beautiful view of the crocodilians, the saltwater crocodiles. And now let's head out this reptile house. Just we have to walk all the way around again, so I'll see you when I leave this building. Alright, so we are outside now at the back to the entrance basically, but yeah, we have a nice view of the penguins over here as well. And this is the other entrance of the reptile house, since it has 2 entrances. And this area has a nice food quarter with, this is the only like shop that I gave like a custom interior, completely custom built by me, no other people required. And then I got another, like, I think that's Cosmic Cow, yeah. And yeah, just in general, just a nice little shopping area. Now let's continue. There's another view of the seals on the other side. A nice little sign as well. And we love seals, don't we? Seals are cool, you know. And it was really fun to build. This is the very first enclosure. But on the other side, we have our largest predator, the polar bear. And this is probably my favorite enclosure in the whole zoo. It's just so imposing. It looks so cool. I love the rock work that I did. Yeah, the river that goes through the enclosure and into a lake, a perch area. It's cool. And a polar bear somewhere. Oh look, there it is. Mr. Polar Bear. Or Miss, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just the single polar bear on its own, having the good old polar bear life. And I lost it. I thought, what? It just disappeared. It's gone. Maybe it went into the water. So let's have a look in the water. If you can find this said polar... Oh, there it is. Mr. Polar Bear having a good old time in the water. So there's actually an underwater view as well. And a nice sign of Greg explaining to us about polar bears and the liking. So yeah, a large staircase down to have a look at this beautiful beast, the polar bear. It also deep dives. The water is deep enough for the polar bear to deep dive, so it should deep dive, but it may not fancy deep diving right now. There's also a nice statue that actually illuminates at night. And yeah, so right up by the glass, beautiful, beautiful bear. It's the only bear species that we have. I know the other bear species, like a lot of the other ones, do swim and like deep dive as well. But, you know, what's the point of having multiple bears? It's a bit repetitive. I didn't want the zoo to be too big either, since bears need quite some space. So I just thought I'll go for the most iconic water bear. I'd go for the most iconic swimming bear, the polar bear, which is quite literally like it swims in the ocean. So, you know, it was fitting. And then this is the Williston Lake, the North American area, with its nice little North American buildings, a bit Canada inspired. Finlay River, that's the river where the beavers live. So beavers are having a great old time. And originally there were only two species, the beaver and the moose. But I've added a third species, which I thought was kind of fitting for an aquatic pack, which you'll see in a bit. But yeah, the beavers love running up and down the river. As you can see, chasing each other. That is so cute. I love that. And they've built a couple of dams, you know, as beavers do. There's a little like children play area here with this beaver as well, which is custom built, and some some buildings which actually hide some stuff areas. And yeah, the third animal is the raccoon. As I said, there would be a third animal. The raccoon is labeled as aquatic. They do like swim, so I thought, you know what, that is good enough. Just so we have another North American species, because the North American species were lacking a bit, especially like obviously the aquatic North American species. But yeah, they do have a large area to play around in. They can climb and they can swim, and it's that same river the beavers swim in as well, so that's Finlay River. And Finlay River ends up in the Moose Lake, which is called Williston Lake. Williston Lake obviously being the name of the area as well. So this is actually our very rare albino moose in the zoo. Very cool. The moose has no name though. I'll call it Benny. Benny the albino moose. There are some other males as well, so they do fight occasionally. I should sell some, but I'm too bored. But yeah, they do, like, moose do like to swim. They're very water loving animals as well, so definitely a nice fit in this aquatic pack called Aqualand. And I tried to make the lake a bit like overgrown with a load of reeds and stuff. You know, make it feel like some North American lakes. And you can see one having a drink. And the lake is like shallow, so they can just walk. Here's another view of the jaguars, which, you know, they live in South America, but they do live in North America. Oh, and now it's deep diving. So now it's deep diving in the back. But yeah, they do live in North America as well, so I thought you could view it from this angle as well. It's like North America and South America are quite connected, you know. Yeah, very nice area. And also, the first few of the chalets. Oh, they are fighting. Like I said, they do fight occasionally. So let's have a look. Who will win? They're having a very interesting fight. We all know that obviously the oh, he lost. We obviously know that the albino is a true alpha here, but yeah. As I said, there were some chalets back there as well, where you can actually stay for the night and have a nice view of the moose. But now we'll have to head off all the way back to the entrance of the North American area. So yeah, that's a bit of a walk. So I'll talk to you lads in a bit when we're there at the entrance. Alright, so we're back here at the nice entrance area of Williston Lake. Back heading to the seal enclosure, and this time we'll take a left and we will explore the last realm of this zoo. But first, as you can see, there's a sign in the distance and a nice statue of a familiar bear, which is obviously the polar bear. But yeah, that's a nice little statue on a rock. But if we look to our left, there's actually a little igloo, so the bear can like cool down if it's a bit too hot. But the last realm is Saldana Bay, and Saldana Bay is the largest realm, and it's inspired by different African coastal architecture, with all our swimming or water-bearing, water-loving African animals. First being the greater flamingo, which incidentally eating right now. It's eating time, it seems. But yeah, the flamingos are having a good old time. Having a little snack, probably krill or like whatever they like, pink things. Yeah, that's also why they have the pink color. And then we have a walkthrough habitat, the African penguin. And there's a lot of African penguins, as I said. They breed a lot. So yeah, as you can see, some African penguins. And they have a large area. I really wanted to make this feel open. And that lighthouse is supposed to be like an old lighthouse that has been here on this island before the zoo was established. So it basically just got a paint job, and that's basically the story behind that. But yeah, many penguins having a good old penguin time, and some architecture inspired by Somali like fishing villages. That's where those buildings are inspired from yeah, Somali fishing villages, as I said. Some little hidey holes for the penguins to go into as well. And yet again, a custom sign. When we leave this enclosure, there's actually a cool staff building, which is inspired by some colonial Congolese architecture, actually, which is more inland. But you know, we'll see that some of these next animals are more inland animals as well. First being the Nile lechwe, obviously not from the Congo, but actually from the River Nile, hence the name. They do live in other places around Africa, but they're obviously named after the river. And yeah, a nice, lovely view of the coast, I must say. And you can see the hotel in the background, the final hotel building. You can actually enter this particular Congolese building to view the Nile lechwe. So let's do that. Have a nice view, I guess. And Nile lechwe are definitely, well, wetlands animal. They are from the wetlands back, so they definitely do like a little swim and a little sit in the water. So very beautiful. And here is a cool, like, coastal African market kind of thing with all these different market stalls with a theme around whatever they sell, so like a mask shop for the heads, like the masks, info desk, and Bernie's Bakes as well. And then here is the big bay, huge resort where you can swim. Basically, you can swim. You can enjoy the sun. Obviously, if it's summer, you don't want to go swim there if it's winter, especially not in Sweden. And then we have another view of the Nile Lechwe on the other side of the enclosure as well. Very beautiful. And finally, a couple more animals go. A cool little waterfall as well. Yeah, I guess that's something. And we'll actually have a look at the pygmy hippo. Pygmy hippo being a hippo, but small. Yeah, pygmy hippos are quite cool. They're from the deluxe pack, I think. And yeah, oh, there's one there, just leaving the water. Perfect timing. Thank you, hippo, for not going into the water. But there's a couple of them above water, probably. Yep. There's one sleeping over there. There's some babies over there as well. And another adult eating some melon. Our zoo residents definitely love some melons. Capybaras aren't the only one. Another custom sign of a cute little pygmy hippo. And Greg has something to say again. Greg says some interesting stuff about pygmy hippos. Okay, so when we continue, we'll actually go to the real big hippos, the big ones, yeah, the ones that most people are familiar with. Some more architecture that goes into a staff area. And yeah, look at that. Big old hippo. And the buildings you see in the background are actually also chalets where you can sleep. Are there any in the water? Doesn't seem like it. No. Yeah, it's quite empty. Well, they're not in a swimming mood today, unfortunately. Oh, and there's also another Greg sign, as always. But ignore this one though, because Greg is informing you about flamingos this time around. I know, quite interesting. It's because the simple fact is that I forgot to change the sign to something about hippos. That's why there's some flamingo information that is an accident. But yeah, as you can see, lovely hippo, and a huge area where they can sleep as well. Especially in the winter, you know, when it's colder. And this is more South African inspired, this part of the zoo. So there's 3 different African architectures. This is called the Zekui. The Zekui is Afrikaans for hippo, actually. So that's quite a fitting name. This is a nice little eatery where you can eat some food and watch the hippos whilst you eat. Rolling in mud, for example. Really cool. Oh, I love hippos. And look at a little baby as well. And all the chalets where you can sleep. Very, very, very cool. Yeah, let's continue. And yeah, you can have a a pizza and coffee. You know, coffee is very fitting in a African setting, in my opinion. But yeah, another backseat area, someone who left their wheelbarrow again. I have some lazy staff members here. But yeah, look, the Nile monitor, next animal, obviously also from the River Nile, but also across the rest of Africa. The Nile monitor is our last reptilian in the zoo. This was actually a last, like, 2nd edition. I originally wasn't planning to have Nile monitors, but I ended up adding them as well. And our last pier as well to visit, to have a nice view of the ocean. And also, this is like a better view of this big hotel where you can stay. But yeah, as I said, nice pier. And the pier gives you maybe not the best view since there's land. There shouldn't be land, but you have to imagine it continuing. But it does give a good view of our zoo if you turn around. Look at that. How cool is that? So yeah, very nice in my opinion. And if you continue, we will finally visit the final animal and final area of the zoo. Well, not final area, but final animal. Let's just keep it to final animal. Which is, well, we'll see. It's also a last second addition since it was one of the new animals added to the game. But yeah, we have Saldana Resort, which is fitting with obviously Saldana Bay. Yeah, that's the big resort or hotel area of the zoo. And as you can see on the sign in the distance, we have some red river hogs. But yeah, look at these buildings. So I'd love to stay here and, you know, open my window and see some red river hogs. Or maybe hippos if you're lucky, depending on where you sleep. And yeah, so there's a whole bunch of red river hogs, although it does feel a bit empty right now. I think they're all inside. But they have a nice little area. This whole like front area is supposed to just be like muddy and stuff. That's why it's like all plaster there. My like imagination, it would all be like full of mud and stuff like that, so they can roll around. But instead, they are chomping on some melons once again, since we do love feeding our animals melons. And there are all the other ones inside, hiding away from the guests, eating probably as well. And yeah, nice another view of the hotel. But let's go to the chalets. The chalets are rows of individual houses where you can stay with your family and enjoy a visit in our zoo. And there's well, they're all numbered, so you can easily find your house. And I also added like animal signs, so you can easily find your row as well, because I've seen them do that a lot in zoos. But yeah, so we have some signage showing you where your number is, and there's different rows, I guess. The penguin row over there, and in the top row is the hippo row. But we'll take the penguin row. Let's go to the penguin row, yeah. Let's follow this row. And as you can see in the distance, we have the other themed area, because obviously this is the African chalets. In the distance, we have more of the North American / European, like Swedish chalets as well. But yeah, there's a nice number of chalets to stay in for a big number of guests. And a nice feature with some penguin statues as well. Very cool. And some signage, very important. But also a private beach only for residents of the zoo who stay overnight. It's a tiny beach. There's another one on the other side of the buildings as well, a slightly large one, but a lot of space to swim, you know, if you want to do some laps or whatever, or just play in the water. And even some towels that people are hanging out after having a swim, you know, hanging out their towel and stuff like that. Very cool. I thought that was a nice touch of me. Yeah. Same thing here. We have the different rows. So we have bullfrog row down there. Next being beaver, I think. Yeah, beaver row. And the final row being the moose, obviously, where you have a view of, well, the moose. And if you walk through this area, actually, it's quite a long walk, but basically there's just all row houses, they're all identical. But let's just speed up this process, and I'll see you at the end. So finally, the gift shop. That's the only like building I haven't shown you yet. The inside, let's say, is full of workshop items. Literally all of it. I haven't built a single piece inside of this building. But yeah, we have all the different crocodilian plushies. We have like all the different Whitehills Harbour plushies with penguins and polar bears and seals and sea lions. We have the North American plushie and sign area, I guess. We can buy some North American stuff as well. You know, all the different, like, some more there as well. And then all the other plushies from all the other themes. Proboscis monkey, otter, platypus, capybara. List goes on. But all workshop items, all of it. But, you know, as I said, interior, not my thing. Yeah, so that's the gift shop. That's basically the whole zoo. Alright, so thank you so much for tuning in this rather long walkthrough of the full zoo tour of Aqualand. I hope I can do stuff like this in the future as well. Obviously, this is a completely original build built by me with, as I said, a whole lot of different workshop items, obviously from other people who helped me out with some finer details. But yeah, I hope we can do some more walkthroughs, full zoo tours of other zoos I've made built in the past, or I can do zoo tours of other people if you'd like to see that. I can tour some other zoos that I haven't built. But for now, thank you for watching this zoo tour of Aqualand, and I will see you in the next video.